Hi everyone. Previously we learned how to copy, move and remove regular files. Things work a little bit differently for directories, and this video will explain the differences to you. So we previously learned how to create a directory using the mkdir command. So mkdir some directory and then enter. And if we list the contents of my current working directory using ls, we see that we have two directories here, some directory and week1. Of course, you may also want to remove a directory, and that you can do using the rmdir command. So let's remove this directory that we just created. So rmdir and then some directory. I'm using tab completion here, and then enter. Let's list the contents of this directory to see that the directory is actually gone. And we can see that some directory is no longer there. Now rmdir only works for empty directories. Let's test this. I'll recreate this directory, some directory, again using mkdir. So mkdir some directory and enter. And then let's add a file to this directory. The easiest way to do this was using the touch command. So I'll say touch and then some directory, again using tab completion. And then I'll create a file called file.txt and enter. This creates an empty file called file.txt inside the directory some directory. And let's check that the file is actually there using the ls command. So ls some directory and enter. And we can see that there's a file.txt inside this subdirectory. Okay, now let's try to remove some directory using the rmdir command. So rmdir and some directory. And then enter. We get an error message saying that some directory is not empty. So to remove this directory, you can either first remove all of its contents and then remove this directory using rmdir. But there's also another easier way. You can also use the regular rm or remove command, but you need to give a command line parameter. So rm dash capital R and then some directory. And then enter. This command does not give an error message, and if we list the contents of the current directory using ls, so ls enter, we can see that the directory is now gone. And a word of warning again, when you remove things, they are gone. It's difficult or possibly impossible to recover deleted files and directories, so better be sure before removing stuff. Often you may also want to copy a directory. We use the cp command to copy a file, but if we try to use cp to copy a directory, it won't work. Let's try to copy the week1 directory, so cp week1, and let's try to copy it to a name week1 copy and press enter. We get this error message that week1 wasn't copied because it is a directory. Okay, so in order to actually copy a directory, you need to again use this option -r. So cp dash capital R week1 and week1 copy and then enter. So let's use ls to see what happened. And we can see that we now have these two directories, week1 and week1 copy. This -r option stands for recursive, which means that it copies the entire directory and all of its files and all of its subdirectories and their files and subdirectories and so forth. So this can potentially be quite a lot. Moving and renaming directories is easier. So if I want to move the week1 directory into my home directory, I can just use the mv command like I do with regular files. So mv week1, and then I'm going to input this tilde. You may remember that the tilde, or this small wave here, was a shorthand for your own home directory. Now let's press enter. And then let's navigate to our own home directory by executing cd without any arguments. So just cd and enter. And let's print the current working directory to see that we're in the correct place, so pwd. And I can see that, yes, I am in my own home directory. And now if I type ls and enter, we can see that there's now this directory week1 in my home directory. Let's just move it back to the course directory using mv week1 and then the name of the course directory KIK-LG219 and then enter. So this was a small video on how to copy, remove and move directories.